All right. Today we want to talk about joy. Joy is a beautiful state of being. And we really want to look at how Jesus taught joy. You know, we really don't focus on that much, do we, when we're looking at how he walked. Joy is that wonderful consciousness of contentment, peace, and laughter is the door. If you cannot find joy in any given moment, fake laugh at somebody. Now you need to have somebody looking at you to get the full response. And that will open the door to some spirit within you to take you to the next step. When we think about joy, we've got contentment, we've got peace, we've got this fullness, we've got this beautiful spirit. We feel loved. Can you feel joy without feeling loved? I can't. Feel loved, I feel supported, I feel like all is right and well in my world. And are not all of these feelings attributes of God? The fullness, the contentment, the rightness, that beautiful energy of all support. Joy is a state of consciousness that literally takes us into an awareness of God. Wouldn't you like to be there more often? I want you to think about your day. When we get up and we begin our day, how many of us are agenda-driven? This side more than this side. Okay. We're seeing a theme here. Yeah, you need to move over. When we wake up agenda-driven, how much room is there for joy? Because we turn our motors on and we start going for the goal, for the achievement. Instead of really feeling our way through life, instead of really seeing, how am I today? What is happening today? Have you ever been in the middle of something, doing something, could be something very simple, and all of a sudden you go, this is kind of fun. You know? And it's like you've already been doing it before you even dawned on you that this is fun. This is good for you. You wake up a little bit. You might embrace it a little differently. And if you allow yourself, you can move into that space of really accepting that this is cool. This is good. This is making me happy. Things to think about. All right. When we're looking at Jesus' teachings, I wanted to start in the Aquarian just to show you just a few little of the stories. And the first one I'm going to start with is one that you hear me talk about all the time. Probably because I work a lot. So I have to remind myself of this story. This is the story of the toilers. Do you remember? Jesus is a young man. He's meditating, and these guys who are working, come by him, and they have lines of sorrow in their face. And he says to them, why are you so sad? And they say, because we work all the time. And they start talking about heaven, and they said, we've heard of heaven. It's a place far up in the sky. And if we live our life well enough, one day we'll get to that place far away in the sky. Do you remember? And, you know, believe it or not, a lot of you were raised that way. That there's not, shut up, do your job, and one day, far away, you'll have that experience. And what Jesus says to them is this. God never made a heaven for man, and he never made a hell. We make our own. Cease to seek for heaven in the sky and open up the windows of your heart, and like a flood of light, a heaven will come and bring a boundless joy. And then toil will not be a cruel task. Cease to seek for heaven in the sky, open up the windows of your heart, and heaven will come and bring a boundless joy. So, joy is accessed through opening up our own heart. Whose responsibility is that? Ours. How often do we turn to our spouse and say to them, you are not making me happy?
Never.
You've learned not to.
We were trained not to say that.
Yeah.
Next week will be the sermon on lying.
And so it may not be your spouse, maybe it's someone else that you're intimate with, or boss or something. You are not making me happy. Joy is you opening the windows of your soul so you can feel. The other story of joy that I adored was the story of a widow. And she is very upset. Jesus is working with the dead. And the woman is beside herself crying. And Jesus explains to her, don't cry. Your son was a good man. He did all that he could do. He finished his life journey. He's going to go to the other side. He's got more work to do over there. And when he's done, he'll continue and he'll grow. And he's going to be achieving. Your grief is keeping him here. Your grief is making him sad. Your grief is not helping. And then he says to her, if you harbor grief and give your sorrows vent, give your sorrows vent. You may not be grieving, but how many of you complain? Okay. They will grow greater every day. When you vent, it will grow greater every day. They will absorb your very life until at last you will be nothing but grief. And we can say grief, we can say complaining, we can say anything that takes us from our joy. If we vent, we're giving energy to it. Instead of helping your son, you're hurting him. Then he says, go bury your woes, smile at grief, and lose yourself in helping others dry their tears. With duty done comes happiness and joy, and gladness cheers the hearts of all who have passed on. With duty done comes happiness and joy. How often do we cover our capacity to have joy by carrying resentment, grief, negative energy, and verbalizing it until it becomes greater than our capacity to be happy? Does anybody understand?
Yes.
Has anybody had the experience where someone walks up to you and looks at you and goes, smile, and you just want to throttle them? You do not know how big my grief is. You do not know how big my problems are that I'm carrying. I'm not going to smile. I'm not going to go find joy, and you can't make me. Because I've got burdens. And we take our identity to that. But he was trying to get her to a space where she could feel joy again. And how did he get her there? By working. Get up and do what's yours to do. Help others. Be helpful. Get into life and give. If you can give your energy to support life, you will find joy opening within you. So our first task is to open the windows of our soul. Our second task is to give our light to the world. Give of what we've got. Maybe it's just a hug or a kind word. Give of what we've got. And let that start opening our energy. You guys know I'm on my mission. Spirit assigned me the task July 23rd to speak positively about everyone for a year and see how my world will change. And I have restarted my mission almost every 2 weeks because I'm going to accomplish a full year. And I've been doing really well. I think my start date's somewhere in February at this point. But I'm going to say March 1, just to be clear. The energy that I retain by not even teasingly saying something negative, and that's what I would do. I would tease people. It's not unkind in my mind, I'm playing. No. The energy that you retain by not investing in verbalizing things that are not positive is amazing. It's amazing. It's like, wow, why would I waste all that energy? But you won't know it till you stop. And then you realize, I've got more core now. I've got more core to invest. But again, the message to the mother, quit giving your energy to that which does not serve you. Don't carry that. Don't build it. Don't make it bigger than you. And share your light in the world, and then you'll find joy. So we have 2 steps. The third in the aquarium I wanted to share with you was when Jesus was just such a little boy. He was 7 years old. And this is a familiar story. His grandfather, who apparently was wealthy, came to him and said, this is a big deal. You're 7. Anything you want, I'll give you. Anything. And the child looked at his grandfather and said, well, I have an idea. I want to throw a party and I want to feed all the little children in the town. And his grandfather said, well, okay. And it says he didn't wait a second. He ran out of the house and started knocking on every door that had children. And he gathered them all up, and it was over 100, I believe. He took to his grandfather's house. Now, in that day and time, they didn't go to Party City and buy decorations. They just started preparing food the minute he left. And so he and his mother served all of these children. And it talks about the joy in his heart as he led the ragtaggedy, muffin-filled group. They were not wealthy. They probably hadn't had enough to eat. Up to his house, to his grandfather's home. And then he and his mom served. And how happy it made him to share his life. So we have these 3 examples of finding joy through sharing of our abundance, through sharing of our talents, and through opening our own heart. Simple? Okay. If we look at the energy that joy creates, it actually is a connection with God. The more joyful you are, the more receptive you are. Do you realize that? Think about when you've been in moments of joy and you're just so happy and you feel so good and things just happen to you serendipitously. It's like, oh, look at that. Oh, thank you for that. Oh, this is fabulous. I've been needing that. Thank you. Where'd that come from? And we're just living in this flow, right? And then think of other times when you really need something and you really want something, you want to manifest something, you've got a dream you're working on, and you're working on that dream, and you're working on that dream, and you're working on that dream, and you get tight and tight and tight and tight, and you go, where's my dream? Where's my dream? And you're almost demanding your dream. How receptive are you? I mean, what can get into this? Nothing. It's the relaxation that comes with joy. When you are happy, you are the most creative and you are the most receptive. When you're happy, the most creative and the most receptive. And you are the most connected. You're in that beautiful spirit of God that's flowing through you. So in the big book, which will change books now, I wanted to give you some scriptural references of joy so you can see his focus. We talk a lot about love your brother, be kind, Sermon on the Mount, we're going to go over that in a couple of weeks. All the instructions of how to live a good life, how to be a peaceful, loving being to access God, to prosper, to make your life better. But we really don't focus on that joy overly much. But I want to show you that it is here. In one of the parables that he gives, this is in Matthew, chapter 13. He's talking about the kingdom of heaven. Everybody ready?
Yes.
Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a treasure which is hidden in the field. A man discovered it, and because of his joy, he sold everything he had and bought the field. Well, that's it. That's the parable. Right there. He found something he did not own. He found something that made him so happy, so wondrously happy, that it would provide all of his needs. He would take no more concern about anything in the outer world because he sold everything he had in the outer world to get it. You see? All of his needs were going to be met. And he was so happy to move into that relationship that he let go of all attachment to everything he had achieved at that moment, sold it all, and moved into this space, bought the field. He moved into this space where he could be one with this beautiful presence of God. But it was his joy that took him there. The kingdom of God is like unto. How many many of us are taught to enter the kingdom of God as a burdened person. God's going to save you. I mean, we don't do the traditional way. We're metaphysical. But even in our metaphysical way, a lot of us don't turn to that presence of God until everything else has failed. You know? I'll counsel people, well, how often are you meditating? Oh. Did you do your homework before you came to your counseling session? This morning. Okay, good. All right. Are you praying? Well, I'm coming to see you every now and then. Nobody's laughing. This is funny.
Too real.
Resonate a little too deep.
We entering into the kingdom of heaven because you have to, because you all else has failed, because you have failed to manifest in the outer world, is not the ideal place to come in. The kingdom of heaven is something you joyfully want. You want to be part of God consciousness. You cannot wait to meditate. You cannot wait to pray. You cannot wait to see the goodness God has for you. Joy. Desire to be with that. We're not little children cooking cookies in the kitchen, waiting for Mommy to clean up our mess when we fail. Have you ever made cookies or watched children and they want to do it by themselves? And you let them? And the place turns upside down. And you try to go, oh, honey, don't put pepper in there. Oh, no, pepper's going in. Do you know? And then they turn to you and say, okay, Mommy God, Lord of my being, fix it for me. Did they learn about cooking cookies? No. Whereas if they had invited the mommy in, okay, show me how you do it. I'll do it with you. Now we have the experience of accomplishing and co-creating, not just making a mess, turning to God, and having it cleaned up. And God is always available. Go clean up your messes with you. But the kingdom of God, that state of joy comes when you choose to enter it. Y'all getting it?
Yeah.
I like being manned.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Let's see the other one I wanted to read for you guys. All right. In joy, all our needs are met. We can let go of everything because we know everything is going to come to us. We've opened the windows of our souls. We're giving our light to the world. We're helping our fellow man, and we're just living in that space of contentment. When it's funny. I'm talking about joy up here, and I'm really trying to help, but all you guys are going like this instead of like this. Everybody breathe in a big hunk of joy. Say, I can do this.
I can do this.
Joy is easy.
Joy is easy.
Okay. When Jesus left, this is in John, and this is important. Okay. When Jesus left, he had his disciples for the evening before he had to go to the Garden of Gethsemane. This is the Lord's Supper when they do the preparation, and Judas has already gone to do his thing, and then he talks and talks and talks. And John gives us a lot of what may have been said. We don't know, but we get insights in the book of John. But the one thing that Jesus says, he says, I give you a new commandment. I want you to love the Lord your God with all your heart and soul and with every fiber of your being. And I want you to love one another as I have loved you. Love your neighbor as yourself. And then he says to them, I have spoken these things that my joy might be in you and your joy might be full. One of the last things that he wanted to give his disciples was the consciousness of joy. Joy coming from loving God. They were coming from the Jewish state of rules. You had to do this and that and this and that. And he said, you don't have to. Love God. Love your neighbor as yourself. Love one another as I've loved you. Love God. And the joy I have at my life, at my experience, you will have. in your life. Because you are making spirit more important. Now, all of you will say, well, we're not Jewish and we don't have a lot of rules. Yeah. You do. You do. You have a lot of rules. We all have a lot of rules that we levy against ourselves. And nobody in our world throws the rules out and goes, excuse me, you aren't doing these things unless we ask them to. And oftentimes we ask our spouses to. If I'm not behaving like I think I should, would you please yell at me? And what does your spouse say? Sure. Of course I will be the Pharisee in your life. Of course I shall be your judge and juror. Of course I will do that for you. Because you asked them to. What if we could take a week, 2 weeks, I'm not going to ask for a year, take just a wee bit of time and live by just those 2 commandments. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and soul, and love each other. Just love each other. Just love each other. Don't be cranky. Don't be cruel. Just love each other. How do you think your world would change? And let me give you a little key here. Love includes patience. Because I can see a lot of you going, I'll love them. I have no patience for them, but I'm going to love them. No, that's not love. Love includes patience. Love includes acceptance. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know why you're doing it. But I'm going to try. We were having a conversation the other day, Patrick and I, and he was sharing with me a position. We're both very strong. And I had no answer to make him happy. You know, there was no solution. But I found it was just miraculous. It was a miracle. Mm-hmm. I felt the beautiful energy of God's love, and all I could say was, let's just create some space for God in this. I don't have an answer. I understand your position. But let's stretch this, and let's create space for God to come in and do what needs to be done. And guess what he said? Okay. Okay, let's do that. No problem. And guess what happened to the problem? Gone. I don't even know how it got healed. I quit looking at it. It's gone. It just got taken care of. Loving the Lord your God, loving your neighbor as yourself, loving people, giving space for the activity of God to move in your world. You do not have to be the one that triumphs and shows everybody the error of their way. You don't have to be the hero that looks for a victim so you feel good about yourself when you save them. We don't need our brothers and sisters to be less than for us to feel good. Joy can only occur when we are feeling fulfilled, supplied, safe, and in the heart of God. That's the true state of joy, in the heart of God. And in that, we are receptive and creative. And isn't that our job on planet Earth?
Yes.
To create, to be receptive, to have fun, to do light, love, wonderful things. Joy. I can be joyful. Charmaine can be joyful. Can you be joyful?
Yes.
Would you consider living those 2 commandments for 1 week so that the joy that was in Jesus Christ can be in you as well?
Yes. Yes.
Can you remember patience?
Yes.
Yes.
That was yes.
We all know what that was. First step when you're not feeling joyful, open the windows of your heart. Second step, when you're starting to feel negative and things are overwhelming you and you just want to give vent to that negativity,
Shut your mouth.
and help others. Try to be understanding. Try to be understanding. Reach out to somebody. Call somebody. Call somebody that you haven't talked. Call your mom. Call someone you haven't talked to in a while. Just reach out. And then the third, lead with your light. Lead with your light. Do you know what I'm saying? When you go to work, most of us have something that we do every day. Do we have something we do? Even if it's get up, make beds, and something. Maybe we do that with a sense of, today I will let Spirit guide me as I do this. Today I will be open to the movement of God in my life. The kingdom of heaven is acquired when we open to the joy within our hearts. And then we're connected. Okay, a lot of information today. This is a lesson. Instructions for you. So let's take it within. Put your feet on the floor. You ready to be joyful? I want you just to breathe and feel a beautiful column of light coming over you. And I want you to imagine and invite the energy of God and imagine it whatever color it comes through this beautiful column of light just for you. And in your heart, ask. Father, Mother God, we ask that your beautiful love now cleanse anything that keeps me from joy in my world. I ask that your love now move through my thoughts and my emotions, any resentments or judgments. I ask that your love move through me to heal anything that keeps me from joy. And feel and imagine that beautiful color moving through your body now. And let it relax your body. Let go. Just let go. There is nothing you have done that you have to make amends for. This is God cleaning up your kitchen. Let it go. Let it go. And now let your focus go to the heart. How you love, who I am, my heart, who I am in the world. Father, Mother God, help me open the windows of my heart so I can feel it. And just imagine, if you can, energy beginning to open from your heart center. Just let it open and feel the heart become strong and bright. And it doesn't matter if you sense a color or a vibration when you send this energy. I cease to seek for heaven in the sky. I open the windows of my heart, that I might feel a boundless joy. And I want you to think of someone now, as this energy is flowing from your heart, that might need a smile. Whoever in your mind's eye appears as the perfect person. Anyone that you might see. And I want you to take a breath and send that joyful energy to this person. And let them know you love them. You accept them. And just feel. They don't have to return anything. This is for you to give. And let them go. Doesn't matter who it was or why they're here, just let them go. And feel that beautiful column of light and lift up just a little bit. And I want you to feel the presence of Jesus Christ coming forward now. And let him take you by the hand. And feel the joy within him. There was not one moment in his world where he was not joyful. Breathe in that joy into you. And look into his eyes. I joyfully embrace my life. What is mine to do? And I thank you. Feel his great love. Gently let the vision go as you focus back on your heart. And you should feel a sweet tenderness in your heart now. Can you feel it? I am good. And I am joy. Father, Mother God, I ask that you bless all of these with a path of ease this week, so that each can learn how effortless walking in love and joy can be. I thank you that it is done, because we have asked. And so let's take a breath. Gently bring your focus back to your body. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. How did it feel?
Good.
Did you feel that healing energy moving through you? Did anybody get their kitchen clean? I would love for you to take up the homework challenge. If the number of us did that, we could change the city of Atlanta. We are that powerful. We're that powerful. And it doesn't take but a few hearty souls consciously participating to affect the whole. So think about it, pray about it. If it's not yours to do, no problem. But if it is, let's do it together. Say, yay, God.
Yeah.